There is a moment that nobody talks about. You sit down at the dinner table. You set one plate, one glass, one fork, and the silence in that room is so loud, it almost hurts. Or maybe it's Sunday morning. The house is still. No one calls. No one knocks. And you think to yourself, is this it? Is this what the rest of my life looks like? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, this video is for you. Not because I have a quick fix, not because loneliness goes away overnight, but because there is something the Buddha understood about moments like this that quietly changes everything. Stay with me. Let's be honest about what's really happening. When you're younger, life has a rhythm. You wake up and someone needs you. The kids need breakfast. Your spouse needs to talk. Your boss needs the report by 9. You might have resented it sometimes. The noise, the demands, the endless to-do list. But that noise, that pressure, it told you every single day that you existed, that you mattered, that you were connected to something bigger than yourself. And then, gradually, or all at once, that rhythm changes. The children grow up and build their own lives. A marriage ends, a partner passes, you retire, the phone rings less, the calendar empties, and suddenly you are faced with something most people are never taught to handle. Unstructured time, unwitnessed days, a life lived mostly in your own company. Now here is what society tells you about this. It tells you something is wrong with you. It shows you advertisements of smiling grandparents surrounded by family. It puts out studies about the loneliness epidemic and the health dangers of social isolation. And so you panic. You scroll through your phone at midnight looking for connection. You say yes to things you don't want to do, just to fill the silence. You feel a quiet shame, like somehow, at this stage of life, you should have more people around you. But what if, and stay with me here, what if the panic is the problem, not the aloneness itself? What if the silence isn't a sign that something has gone wrong, but an invitation to something you've never had time for before? The Buddha lived alone for years before his enlightenment. He ate alone. He walked alone. He sat alone through the night. And it was precisely in that aloneness, not despite it, that he found the deepest peace a human being can know. He didn't find peace when the noise came back. He found it in the quiet. And what he discovered there is available to you right now. There is a concept in Buddhism called Ekatta, sometimes translated as aloneness, but more accurately, wholeness within oneself. It is different from loneliness. Loneliness says, I am incomplete without someone else. Ekatta says, I am already whole. Being alone simply reveals that. That distinction may sound small, but it changes everything. When you are lonely, you are always waiting for the call that doesn't come, waiting for the visit, the invitation, the acknowledgement. You are looking outward for something to fill an inward emptiness. But Ekatta asks a different question. Not why isn't anyone here, but who is here? You are here. Your breath is here. The morning light through your window is here. The cup of tea warming your hands that is here. Buddhism teaches that we spend so much of life rushing past the present moment in search of something more. More company, more stimulation, more noise. And in doing so, we miss the only moment that ever actually exists. This one. The Buddha identified 3 states of mind that cause human suffering. He called them the 3 poisons. The first is greed, the grasping after what we don't have. When we're alone, this sounds like, I need more connection, more visits, more calls. The second is aversion, the pushing away of what is. When we're alone, this sounds like, I can't stand this silence. Something is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. The third is delusion, the false story we tell ourselves about reality. When we're alone, this sounds like, no one cares about me. I am forgotten. My best days are behind me. Notice something? The suffering isn't coming from the empty chair across the table. The suffering is coming from these 3 voices in the mind. And here is the radical, gentle truth that Buddhism offers. You can change the voices, not by forcing them away, not by pretending you don't feel what you feel, but by seeing them clearly and choosing not to follow them. There is a practice the Buddha gave his monks. He called it Sati mindfulness, awareness, clear seeing, and it begins with something almost embarrassingly simple. The next time you sit down to eat alone, don't eat in front of the television. Don't scroll your phone. Just sit. Look at the food in front of you. Notice the color of it, the smell, the warmth rising from the plate. Take the first bite slowly, and for just that moment, don't be somewhere else. Be here. This is not a trick. It is not a distraction. It is the beginning of a completely different relationship with your own life. Because here is what happens when you stop running from the silence. You start to hear things you couldn't hear before. You hear the birds outside the window you never noticed. You feel the warmth of the sun on your arm. You notice that the tea tastes different when you're actually paying attention. Small things, simple things. But these small, simple things are what life is actually made of. And the person who learns to receive them fully, that person is never truly alone. The same is true of walking alone. The Buddha walked thousands of miles. Every day, a walking meditation. Not walking to get somewhere. Not walking to exercise. Walking, simply to walk. To feel the ground beneath each foot. To notice the sky. To exist in the body rather than trapped in the mind. If you walk alone, you have been given a gift. You have no one to perform for, no conversation to manage, no opinions to navigate. You have just yourself and the world. And that, the Buddha would tell you, is more than enough. So let's make this practical, because teachings are only as valuable as what they change in your daily life. The first practice, name the voice. The next time you feel the panic of aloneness creeping in, don't fight it. Don't try to escape it. Instead, quietly say to yourself, this is the voice of greed. It is not the truth. Or, this is the voice of aversion. It is not the truth. Or, this is the voice of delusion. It is not the truth. You don't need to argue with these voices. You just need to see that they are voices, not facts. The second practice, the 5-minute presence ritual. Once, each day, just once, stop whatever you're doing. Sit quietly. Take 5 slow breaths. And ask yourself one question. What is actually here, right now, that is good? Maybe it's the light, the quiet, your own heartbeat. Maybe it's the memory of someone you love. Maybe it's simply the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still able to feel. Answer that question honestly every day. It won't fix everything, but it will slowly, gently begin to shift where your attention lives. The third practice, write one line. At the end of each day, write one line in a notebook. Not a journal, not an essay, just one line about something real that happened. The garden smelled like rain this morning. I made a perfect cup of tea. I watched a bird on the fence for 10 minutes and it made me smile. These lines are not small. They are the evidence that your life, this life, lived quietly, lived alone, is not empty. It is full. You have simply been too busy panicking to see it. There is an old Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The tasks don't change. The meals don't change. The walks don't change. The quiet evenings don't change. What changes is the one who is doing them. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not less than someone surrounded by a crowd. You are exactly where you need to be. And the peace you are looking for is not somewhere else. It is here, in this breath, in this moment, in this life, exactly as it is. If this video touched something in you today, please take a moment and subscribe, not as a number, but because every few days we sit together like this, and we talk about the things that matter in this season of life, the fear, the grief, the quiet mornings, and what Buddhism, across 2,500 years, has learned about walking through all of it with grace. You don't have to face this stage of life alone, in the way that hurts. Come back, we'll keep walking together. And if you know someone, a friend, a sister, a neighbor, who sits alone at their table and wonders if anyone sees them, share this with them. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is simply say, I see you, and you are not alone.